Thank you so much for joining us. If you experience depression, you know that it's not just a hopeless feeling, but it's a very lonely feeling, and it can take a whole lot of different forms. Your life does matter, and maybe you look around and you see people who seem happy, and you just don't think that that can be for you because you've tried medication, you've tried therapy, but that might not be all that's out there for you to try. I want to introduce you to my next author. Her name is Martha Rhodes, and she wrote a book called 3,000 Pulses Later, a memoir of surviving depression without medication. Welcome, Martha.
Well, thank you for having me, Suzanne. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. Let's talk about what the book generally is about.
Well, it's a memoir of my journey with depression, with a little self-help baked into it. And the self-help part is my journey with transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, which is an alternative to medication that was FDA cleared in 2008 and has
Oh, it's
since
new.
become very new.
Yeah.
But it is FDA cleared. It's safe. There's no side effects. It's it's a new tool in the doctor's toolkits that they are now more and more using for patients who have treatment-resistant depression. And I want to explain what treatment-resistant depression
Yeah.
is. It's a condition. It's a in the DSM-5, the Bible that the doctors use to diagnose patients, and it's a patient who is not going to metabolize medication. There are several million people in this country who have treatment-resistant depression. Some of them don't even know it, but it's a very dangerous diagnosis when it goes undiagnosed and untreated. And I happen to have fallen into that diagnosis. So TMS, when I discovered it, it came along just at the right moment.
Can you share just real quick a little bit about your story?
Well, I was a successful advertising executive in New York City. I had the world the world was my oyster, as they
Yeah.
say, and long-term marriage, 2 great kids. I had no idea that I was as sick as I was, but I did try to take my life because the stress of the job and the fact that I was depending on taking an antidepressant every morning that I didn't realize wasn't working. I didn't realize I was treatment resistant. So unfortunately, I almost lost my life. But in the meantime, I went on what I call the medication merry-go-round. I was hospitalized. I was given 6 different medications. None of them worked. And not only did they not work, the side effects were intolerable. So that was when I discovered TMS, Transcranial Magnetic Stimulation. It's a mouthful, but if you can just remember, TMS kind of rhymes with PMS.
Yeah, right.
It's a new technology that wakes up the brain by administering MRI strength pulses applied through the scalp into the spot in the brain where depression occurs, where the brain's not working.
That doesn't sound scary.
Not
That
at
doesn't
all.
sound like,
Oh,
the things that we hear from the horrors from the past. I mean,
oh,
that
not at all.
yeah.
Not at all. I was so surprised at how easy it is. You sit in a spa chair, you watch TV, you can drive yourself back and forth. There's no side
Wow.
effect, tummy, dizzy, sleepy, nothing.
Wow.
It was surprisingly easy, and that's the good news. Yeah.
That's great. How did you know that it was working? Like, what was that experience when you go, something is changing?
I woke up one morning. By the way, it's not a quick fix. It's
Okay.
cumulative. It starts at
Okay.
the outermost part of the brain and works its way deeper and deeper. But with that said, I woke up after several treatments on a Saturday morning, and I said, "Oh, something's missing," and I couldn't figure out. But I looked around the room. The air was clearer. The colors in the room were brighter. I had this feeling of what I call okayness. All of a sudden, it was like, oh, I can do today. Whereas before I got what I call the lift, the TMS lift, every morning was like, "Ugh, why do I have to wake up? Why do I have to be here? Why can't I just disappear?" And that was gone. It was
Wow.
gone. I mean, to the point where I looked in the mirror to see if it was really me.
Wow. You said you
I
actually laughed.
Well, once I started coming back into the world with, without the depression weighing me down, we were with friends, and I would never go out with people. I didn't want to go to dinner, anything. And we were chatting away, and all of a sudden, months had passed, and I laughed at somebody's joke, and I went, "Oh my gosh, I
What
just
was that?
laughed."
Oh, that
Yeah.
how did you hear about TMS?
My sister, well, first of all, I had been on all these medications that weren't working, and I was saying I'm not going to take them anymore, blah blah blah. And
Right.
my sister found an ad in a magazine, local magazine, "Treat your depression without medication." So she sent it to me. She faxed it to me actually, and I got on the phone immediately because at that point I was a shell of a woman. I was
Right.
desperate. I didn't think I had any alternatives, and I kept thinking, how am I going to live? I can't
Yeah.
live like this. So I made an appointment with a doctor who was a TMS specialist, and I was qualified as a candidate for this treatment, and
Mm.
I started in, and it has
It
saved
changed
my
your life.
life. It has
And your
saved my life.
marriage, right? A lot of marriages don't make it through someone that
Oh,
has depression.
it's the numbers are staggering. How many marriages dissolve, just fall apart because until you actually experience depression, you can't describe it. It's
Mhm.
almost like you're trying to drive a car that's working only on 3 cylinders instead of all 6 cylinders,
Mhm.
and that's what it feels like. And if someone doesn't have that feeling, it's just impossible to get them to understand.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I have a husband who didn't try to fix me. All he did was
Mm.
just stand by and hope that I would survive. Hope that I
Mm.
would get through. That we would get through, and we have.
Yeah.
We just celebrated our 45th anniversary.
That
So
is
yeah,
wonderful, Martha.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
so great.
I'm
What is the message you would give as we start to wind down here? What is the message you would give to listeners and viewers?
Oh my gosh, that there is know your symptoms. If you're getting depressed, understand that it's possible you have treatment resistant depression. Find an alternative, find the tool that works for you, and also entertain the possibility that there is a way out. Don't give up.
Mm.
Just
Don't
have
give up.
hope. Hard, easier said than done, but find the tool that works for you. Entertain the possibility that it will work, and pray,
And
pray.
this book is giving you that guide, 3,000 Pulses Later, a memoir of surviving depression without medication. Real quick, what does the 3,000 Pulses have to do with the title of the book?
Oh, it's a good question. Every treatment is 3,000 pulses that are administered to the
Oh,
brain. And so every time you go, you get 3,000 pulses.
wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Would you share how can people get a hold of you if they're listening to this?
They can reach me at Martha Rhodes, TMS at gmail.com, or through my website, 3000pulseslater.com. Either way. And I'm more than happy to talk to patients who are wondering more about this, who are thinking about it or in the middle of it and need support, because I am a volunteer patient advocate for this. Thanks.
Buy the book. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you.